Hi, my name is Dwayne Squires.
My name's Richard Muse.
And we're partners at Property Result Investments. Now in this video, we're going to reveal the hidden renovation costs that will devour your profits when you're looking to buy and refurb a property.
The first one is building control. You must be very, very careful that you think, oh yes, the costs only relate to what work you're doing in the property. But you might, if you do an extension or quite a big renovation, you might need permission off the council. Now that means getting in touch with their building control department, and there will be costs involved with that because they have to come and do regular inspections at each stage through the process.
One other thing to think about is pests. So you could be buying a property and underneath the floorboards or up in the attic, there might be a pest problem. So something to factor in when you're looking to renovate. It might be termites, it could be knotweed, it could be mice, it could be a number array of pests that are in and around the property that you're not aware of. So factor that in, maybe get a specialist in just to check it. And if you find it, solve it straight away, because if you don't, it could mean that your property investment and your cost skyrockets, as you might have to start all over again. So bear that factor in mind. Another top tip, if you've got family or you've got children whilst you're looking to renovate, factor in maybe looking to get childcare or looking to actually rent elsewhere, because once you're renovating, there's going to be a lot of dust, there's going to be issues, and it can really impact upon the life when you live in the property. But if you do decide that it might be cheap to stay on, maybe just make sure you factor that element in. The renovation may take a bit longer, builders might need to move things around, but it's up to you, but just factor that in.
Another thing that you need to be aware of is the water and possibly mould or damp damage. Damp can be predominantly in older properties, and I always carry a damp meter with me, and I go around the property and test. And just to show you this one, we know with this, we tested earlier, and it is not too bad. It's showing a little reading there, but this can save you a lot of money because it can tell you if you need to put a damp course in, if you need to treat it for mould. Now, you might find that you might think, oh, you've got damp at the top of the rooms. Well, that might not necessarily be damp. It just could be mould from leaking. So you have to take all of these things into consideration. I would always advise you check this up before you actually start your renovations. Yeah, another thing is that you must not undervalue the cost of your refurb. This is very important. It's happened to me personally in the past. So you might have a budget and you might have quotations for all the different types of jobs you want to do in the property. And you might have something that just crops up that you've never ever thought about, and that's going to add costs to it. So I always say you need to have some sort of a buffer there, so a contingency fund on top of the what you've budgeted, at least 10%, I would say.
Yeah, brilliant. 10% is what we usually factor in. Another top tip to factor in is, rather than just get one contractor around, get several, minimum of 3, so they can compete on the renovations. You can look at which one's more competitive. But obviously, to help with that, make sure you've got a clear schedule of requirements, knowing exactly what they're quoting against, what type of materials they're using, because one builder might be using the most expensive type of materials. Maybe they're using mahogany floors or marble counter worktops, whilst another builder who's quote cheaper is using the lowest of lowest materials. But because you haven't got the materials right in front of you, you might go with the cheaper builder who actually is going to be giving you a product or a renovation that you're not actually looking to get. So make sure you get competing bids and you give them a clear schedule of requirements. So thanks for watching that video. Hopefully you got a few key tips to factor in when you're renovating. There's a few costs that you need to be aware of that could eat into your profits when refurbishing. So please take those on board. And if we can help in any way, please reach out to us.
Sure.